Good morning. We're starting with a do-over. Do-over. I might have to start again if I can't get my words right. This is L.A. Eaton, live in Kodiak. I'm coming to tell you a little bit about my writing process and the groups that I'm in that have helped my writing. I'm publishing through Square Tree Publishing, and they have groups called cohorts that have other authors in it. I'm in a group with Irene, who's written The Magnificent Artist, and MJ Clements. I cannot find the book that I have of yours. I am so sorry. It's called And Dream She Would. It's a well-loved book because we, somewhere in the house, I would read it to the little girl that I watched last year, and we'd have fun talking about the adventures of Maisie and all of her dreams. So it's somewhere in the house. Not only are there other published authors, but there are authors that are striving authors. They will be published. And there's an editor, which really helps because you're able to write something out and read it. You get feedback from the other authors. You get you're questioned about certain things. You get tips from the editor on how to make it better. So that's a really good process for me. There are two types of writers. There are the plotters who have an outline and then they just work through that outline. And then there are ones called pantsers, where they basically fly by the seat of their pants. They just write whatever comes to them. And I am a pantser. When I write my children's book, it's a little bit easier because I can think about it in my head and get the whole outline in my head. They're shorter. But when I started writing my chapter books, I wasn't even sure if I wanted to write a chapter book or if I wanted to do a devotional of some sort. But I knew I wanted to have the topic kind of be wisdom. And since I didn't know where to go, I asked the Lord, give me my first sentence. And so he did. He gave me a sentence, and quickly I realized I would not be writing devotionals. I would be writing chapter books. I really do like stories. The series that I have going right now, I wrote the first book, Lucian's Call. Titles are subject to change. With that said, as I'm getting my second children's book underway through the publisher, and it's going through the editing process, since we realized it's a series, Bowie's Ocean Adventure, which was the first one, has now been renamed to Bowie Adrift at Sea, because the whole series, I've got another one, possibly two, in this series about Bowie, is going to be called Bowie's Adventures. So things do get changed. Right now in my chapter books, I've written the one, and I've collected in my folder all types of things to help me, such as family trees. I have these little character interviews where you've got the character and it helps to know a little bit about themselves, even if you don't mention anything, like things like what was a favorite subject in school, or places they've lived, did they have any siblings, what they look like, their physical appearance. And somewhere in here, I think it had, I can't find it. What do people most admire about him? Does he have any, how does he feel about himself? Those types of things. So it gives you an idea of the personality of the character as you're writing. So I've got that in my folder that's done. I've included a ballad in that one, so I have my ballad that I've written out. So there's just a lot to go into this. I'm done with that one, and I'm moving on to the book that's called The Dragon's Surrender. And the dragon, and this is referring to a person. It's one of the characters' dads, who's literally acts pretty much like a dragon. does not care if he burns you or eats you up and spits you out. But it's going to go through that. And as I work through this, it's the same process. I'll start with what the Lord has given me. And in this case, since it's a sequel, it was really nice because I could kind of start where I left off and get going there. As I write, you know, you think about it. And that's one of the things I said I'll be doing as I'm working on the house. But I also sometimes get ideas for the characters in the books that I'm going to be writing in this series. So I have folders. This one's actually on the Dragon's Surrender. And do you see all my sticky notes? Okay, as I get an idea, I write it down. I not only write it down there, but I also have my desk full of sticky notes. We always joke that my mom's the sticky note queen. I think at some point I'm far going to surpass her, because if I don't have sticky notes around or pieces of paper, this morning I was reading in the Bible, and as I was reading, I went, oh, it gave me an idea. And so I wrote down a sentence. On this side, I've got a few other things about some of the other characters. And so I just compile that. And the sticky notes work for me because as I'm working, I'll look at my sticky notes and go, oh, that would work good right here. I even have, this will be the next one, which is about Simon. And I even have just a few in there about him as I'm going along. I'm like, this should be something I at least consider. I don't know if I'm going to include it. Should include in that book. So as a pantser, I never know where I'm going. I sit down, I start writing. I have an idea how I want the chapter to be, you know, how the chapter is going to begin and how the chapter is going to end. And I always try to end it with something that's intriguing or thought-provoking or leaves you hanging, so you want to read the next chapter. And I have a vague idea of where I need to get to. And part of that is because of the title and what's going to happen to this dragon when he surrenders. So that is my writing process. As you can see, it's kind of messy, not real orderly, I suppose. My sister would tell you that probably represents my personality quite well, because my bedroom growing up was never organized or orderly, but I seem to make things work. So same process here, lots of sticky notes, folders for different books, thoughts in my head that I get down here and there, and just enjoying the longer stories. I enjoy the picture books, but enjoying the longer stories because it's challenging. I was quite apprehensive if I could even write a sequel, which is one of the reasons I have not sent in my first one, is I want to make sure that I can actually do this. Not lack of confidence, it is, but also that as I write, and because I don't have a full plan written out, what if I write something later I really like that changes something that I have already written? I want to make sure that it has a good flow. One of my daughter's pet peeves is to read a series and like things in the later books wouldn't work with things that happened in the previous one. So that's part of why I'm doing this, because I'm not a plotter. I want to make sure I can get this to work right. And these first two definitely go together a little bit more. I think once I get to the third one, I'll be able to go, okay, I'm okay with where I am on this, and hopefully be able to move forward. And seeing some of those edited and possibly published, I'm excited. I'm in two different groups. One is for children books, and one is for the juvenile or young adults. I'm not sure where it is. I just write what the Lord has me write. Everyone asks, you know, what age group do you write for? And I have to say, I'm just writing. I don't really know. And there should be something on my computer that works to tell me the word count and grade level, and it doesn't work. So I do need to maybe Google that and see if I can figure it out. One of the clues that the editor gave me this last meeting was usually the main character's age is the focus for what age group you're writing for. So in this case, it wouldn't be a juvenile novel. It would be a young adult. It's not as well, a young adult. I think a young adult, and they're reading more adult novels, and I don't think of this as an adult novel, although I read all kinds of kids' books. I very rarely buy an adult novel, so I guess it could be for adults. We'll just have to see how this goes, and there's somebody out there waiting to read it, I'm sure, and of some age. So when you've got a reader, you've got people that will search out for what they like, no matter the age or no matter the genre. So there you go. That's a little bit about my writing process, and I'm going to finish now and get some ideas down on paper. I will see you again soon.